The studio lights burned like 1,000 accusing eyes, pinning Steve Harvey in place on the Family Feud stage. Mid-laugh, his face twisted, frozen, as his mother's voice whispered through his earpiece, a single sentence that ripped the air from his lungs. "I never told you about your real father, son. He's been watching every show." The audience's cheers faded into a hollow roar. Steve's knees buckled. He crumpled to the polished floor, monitors flickering to black as cameras cut away in panic. Crew members swarmed like shadows, hands reaching, voices overlapping in sharp bursts. "Steve, get the medic!" A producer yanked cords, killing the feed. The crowd's murmurs swelled into chaos, but Steve lay still, eyes wide, staring at nothing. His chest heaved in shallow pulls, the weight of that secret pressing down like an unseen hand. If this twist has you on the edge, smash that backstage monitors replayed the freeze frame. Steve's smile cracking like thin ice. Hours earlier, the day had hummed with routine energy, rehearsals wrapped clean, contestants buzzing with rehearsed excitement. Steve, ever the showman, cracked jokes over coffee in his dressing room, the faint scent of his mother's peach cobbler lingering from a care package she'd sent that morning. At 67, he moved with the easy rhythm of a man who'd conquered stages from stand-up dives to global arenas. But today, she'd called, insistent, her voice thin over the line. "Need to tell you something before it's too late," she'd said. He'd laughed it off, promising a visit post-taping. Then, during the live intro, her words hijacked his comms. Paramedics wheeled him out under draped sheets, the set emptying like a storm-hit deck. Producers huddled in the control booth, faces pale under fluorescent glare. "What the hell was that voice?" one muttered. Tapes scrubbed, NDAs prepped, but whispers spread, interns texting, crew glancing at phones. Steve's wife, Marjorie, arrived in a blur, her heels clicking sharp against tile. She knelt by his gurney in the green room, fingers tracing his slack jaw. "Talk to me, baby," she whispered. His eyes fluttered, unfocused. In the ambulance, sirens slicing the Atlanta night, Steve's mind replayed fragments. His mother, Ella, raising him in Welch, West Virginia, coal dust on her aprons, Bible verses at supper. Single mom. She'd said her husband left before he could walk. Steve built empires on that grit, fueling jokes about absent dads. But now, her words echoed, "Your real father." Watching. Who? Why now? The secret gnawed, a slow acid in his veins. Hospital bays hummed sterile white, monitors beeped steady, but Steve's pulse spiked erratic. Doctors murmured about stress collapse, exhaustion layered on hidden strain. Marjorie paced the hall, phone glued to ear, fielding calls from network brass. "He's stable," she assured, voice steel, but inside, doubt coiled. Ella arrived at dawn, shuffling in with her cane, eyes hollowed by decades unspoken. Steve woke to her silhouette against the window blinds. "Mama!" he rasped, throat raw. She sat, hands twisting a handkerchief. The room thickened with silence, air heavy as summer storm clouds. "Why'd you say it like that? On the show?" Her gaze dropped. "Had to. Dreams won't let me rest. He's out there, Steve. Reginald Hayes, jazzman from Harlem. Passed through Welch in 57. One night, you were the result." Short breaths. Steve's fists clenched sheets. Reginald Hayes. Name rang faint, like an old record skip. A trumpet player who'd toured with legends, faded into obscurity. "He knows about me." Ella nodded slow. "Sent letters years back. I burned 'em. But lately, he's been emailing from a nursing home in Queens. Says he's proud, watched every Feud episode." Tension ratcheted. Steve's world tilted, jokes rewritten, memoirs hollowed. The man he'd mocked in routines, painted as ghost, had ghosted no more. Cameras offset captured none of this, but ripples hit feeds. Headlines blurred. Harvey down. Health scare. Fans flooded socials. Speculation wild. Discharged 2 days later, Steve returned home to Buckhead. mansion gates clicking shut. Marjorie brewed tea strong, but he paced the study, photos of his blended family mocking from walls. 6 kids, her 3, his 4, now this shadow father? He dialed a PI, voice clipped. Find Hayes, everything. Nights blurred into research binges, grainy clips of Hayes blowing solos in smoky 60s clubs, obits wrong-dated, alive, 92, frail in a Bronx facility. Ella visited again, pie in hand, but words jammed. Should have told you sooner. Feared you'd hate me. Steve paced faster. Hate! Mama, that's my fuel. The story I sold, now it's lie. Psychological vice tightened. Every laugh track echoed false. Show tapings paused. Network sweating ratings dips. Steve stared at mirrors, seeing stranger lines. Reginald's jaw, eyes. One humid evening, PI called. He's real, wants to meet. Sent a photo. Trumpet case, your smile. Steve's hand trembled on the receiver. Drive to Queens loomed. 900 miles of interstate dread. Pack bag or bury it deeper? Meanwhile, set rumors festered. Crew whispered of sabotage, hacked comms. Ella's phone traced to a burner. Paranoia bloomed. Who fed her the live line? Producers grilled texts, logs scrubbed clean. Steve confided in Marjorie over whiskey neat. Feels like trap. Why now? After fame peak? She squeezed his hand. Face it head on. That's you. Dawn broke muggy as he gripped the wheel northbound, I-85 stretching endless. Billboards blurred, his own smirking face on energy drink ads. Mind raced. What if Hayes sought cash? Legacy claim or worse, rejection raw. Tension coiled springs in his gut, every mile a tighter knot. Bronx nursing home squatted grey under overpass shadow. Reception buzzed him in, antiseptic tang sharp. Room 214. Hayes propped in bed, oxygen hissing soft, trumpet case dust-kissed bedside. Eyes met, mirror shock. Steve, croak weak. Knew you'd come. Words tumbled halting. Hayes spoke of that Welch night, gig detour, Ella's diner laugh lighting dark. Fled fame's grind, never knew till letters. Watched you rise, laughed hardest at dad bits. Irony, huh? Steve leaned in, voice low. Why hide? Hayes wheezed. Cowardice. Wanted better for you, without my mess. Revelation layered. Hayes penned anonymous fan mail, funded early Steve gigs through proxies. Pushed from shadows. Betrayal. Gift. Steve's chest ached anew. Collapse echo. Back home, mirrors shifted. Not fracture, fusion. Taping resumed, but Steve's intros carried new edge. Pauses pregnant. Ella healed slow, secrets aired. Cameras rolled again, capturing nothing of the pivot, but audience felt shift, hooked deeper. Yet shadows lingered. That hacked whisper. Who? PI traced to rival producer grudge old. Lawsuits loomed, but Steve stood taller, secret forged into steel. Steve gripped the edge of his dressing room mirror, staring into eyes that no longer flinched. The collapse replayed in fragments, mid-laugh on live TV, his mother's voice crackling through the hacked earpiece, words like shattered glass. Son, I never told you about your real father. Cameras froze, lights dimmed, the world tilted. Backstage chaos had faded into protocol. Medics cleared him. Dehydration, they claimed. But Steve knew better. That secret burrowed deep, twisting roots into every memory of his childhood in Cleveland. Pickup games in the snow-swept lots. His mother's weary smiles over canned dinners. Who was this shadow father? A ghost from her Virginia youth before she fled north with a toddler in tow? He straightened his tie. The fabric cool against sweat-damp skin. Rehearsals waited. The show must go on, but as he stepped onto the soundstage, producers hovered like vultures, whispers trailing, "He's solid. Keep it light." The audience filed in, oblivious, buzzing with pre-taped energy. Steve flashed his trademark grin, masking the storm. "Welcome to Family Feud." Lights blazed, buzzer hummed. Contestants beamed under the glare, yet doubt gnawed. During commercial breaks, he'd pieced calls to his mother. Her voice frail now in that Atlanta nursing home. "Steve, baby, it was a lifetime ago. He wasn't ready for us. No name, no details, just evasion wrapped in love. Midway through Fast Money, it hit again. A contestant faltered on things in a kitchen. Steve leaned in. Quip ready? Then froze. The teleprompter flickered, not sabotage this time. His own pulse thundered, vision blurred. He steadied on the podium, words tumbling automatic. "Pass!" Crew caught the hitch. Director signaled cut. Steve waved it off, sweat beading. "I'm good, let's roll." Off-air in the green room, his manager thrust a tablet forward. PI report updated. Rival producer, Victor Lang. Blacklisted a decade back after Steve poached his top writer. The hack? Petty revenge, traced to a burner server in Miami. "Feds are on it," manager said. "But Steve, this secret, talk to her." Night fell over the lot, sodium lamps casting long shadows on asphalt. Steve drove to LAX, private jet fueled for Atlanta. No entourage, just him, the hum of tires, and questions clawing silence. Dawn broke as wheels touched down. The nursing home smelled of antiseptic and faded roses. His mother sat by the window, quilt over knees, gazing at magnolia trees heavy with blooms. She turned, eyes sharpening. "Steve, you flew all night?" He knelt, taking her hands, palms papery thin. "Mom, the voice on set, your words, tell me." She sighed, gaze drifting to a cracked photo on the sill. Her younger self, radiant, arm around a man with Steve's jawline. "Daryl Hayes, jazz musician, played dives in Richmond. We were young, foolish. He vanished when you were 2 months old. Left a note. Can't chain myself. I raised you alone, told folks he passed in an accident. Easier lies." Steve's breath caught. Not abandonment, fear. Daryl's world, late nights, smoky clubs, fleeting crowds, clashed with her dreams of stability. "Why hide it? I could have handled what? Losing you to his ghost?" Her voice cracked but held firm. "You built empires, son. I gave you roots without thorns." Words hung. Steve saw it now. Her sacrifices, silent vigils during his comedy flops, pride swelling at his first Emmys. The secret wasn't betrayal, protection. He stood, pulling her into embrace, fabric of her robe soft against his cheek. No more shadows. Back in LA, lawsuits piled. Victor Lang settled out of court, career cratering under scrutiny. Steve returned to the set transformed, no collapse redux. Instead, sharper edge to his banter, authenticity bleeding through. One taping. A family team took the board. Mother and son, mirroring his own fracture. Question: name something a parent hides from their kid. Top answer: past mistakes. Steve paused. Laughter built. Number 1, the truth when it's wrapped in love. Audience erupted, ratings spiked, whispers turned to legend. The night Steve Harvey bent but didn't break. But deeper currents stirred. Researching Daryl, Steve uncovered trails. Obit from 98, heart gave out in a New Orleans motel. No kids after, clean slate, yet closure eluded. A letter arrived, postmarked Virginia, handwritten trembling script. "Steve, your mama was right to shield you. I watched from afar, proud, unsigned, but the jazz lilt in phrasing undeniable. He burned it in the fireplace. Ashes curling like smoke from a stage light. Some secrets evolve into strength, weeks blurred into rhythm, shows packed houses, interviews probed. What changed you?" Steve deflected with charm. "Life's plot twists. You adapt." Privately, he visited his mother weekly. Stories flowed now, Daryl's trumpet solos echoing in rainy alleys, her first job scrubbing floors. Laughter healed fractures. On set, tension simmered differently. A new producer sniffed around Victor's shadow. Steve's team vetted hard, paranoia honed instincts. One evening, post-show wardrobe rack rattled. Empty. He spun. Nothing. Wind from AC or warning. Steve locked eyes with his reflection in the mirror again. Taller, steeled, the collapse catalyst. Audience chattered outside, filing out. He stepped into the roar, microphone hot. But in quiet hours, questions lingered. What if Daryl had stayed? Alternate lives flickered, music over mansions. Reality anchored him. Family Feud board lit up anew. Survey says, "Hey, if this twist has you gripping your seat, smash that production amped." Steve greenlit specials, weaving subtle threads of resilience into segments. Contestants opened up more. Families bonded tighter under lights. His mother thrived. Walker traded for strolls in the garden. See, baby, truth sets free. Yet ripples spread. Old contacts surfaced. Daryl's sideman, now retired in Baton Rouge. Phone calls stretched hours. Tales of gigs, close calls. A life unmoored. Your pops had fire, kid, like you. Steve absorbed, filed away. No reunions, just mosaic pieces. Rivalries cooled. Victor faded into obscurity, podcast purgatory. Steve's empire expanded. Books, tours, a foundation quietly aiding single parents, no fanfare. On a crisp fall taping, lightning struck twice. Earpiece static, not hack. Director's voice. "Steve, your mom's on hold. Says it's urgent." Heart skipped. He signaled break, ducked to wings. "Mom?" "Steve, found something in my attic. Come see?" Flight booked. Atlanta awaited. Secrets, it seemed, had sequels. As jet climbed, city lights shrank below. Steve leaned back. Collapsed to conquest, one whisper at a time. Shadows shifted, but he walked taller. Always. The call pulled him earthward. What attic relic, letter, photo, blood tie unspoken, nursing home loomed familiar. Mother waited, envelope clutched, yellowed paper, Daryl's script. "If you're reading this, forgive the ghost." Steve unfolded, words blurred, then sharpened. Legacy, not loss. Final lines, "Tell my boy, chase the rhythm." He did. Every show, every grin. Yet one thread dangled. Who mailed that first letter? Sidemen swore ignorance, puzzle incomplete, tension coiled anew. Steve smiled for cameras, hooked the world. Deeper he chased, deeper he chased the shadow that lingered. Steve pored over faded envelopes in his dimly lit office, the hum of the city outside a distant roar. Each letter from his mother carried the same elegant script, words that twisted like vines around his heart. "Son, some truths stay buried for a reason," she'd written in the last one, delivered just before that fateful taping. But the first, postmarked from a small town in Georgia, no return address. Sideman's denials rang hollow now. He hired a discreet investigator, the kind who moved like smoke through records. Days stretched. Then a name surfaced, Elias Grant, a name from the edges of family lore. Uncle Elias, the one whispered about in hushed tones at reunions, disappeared decades ago after a fallout with Steve's grandparents. The investigator's report landed like a stone. Elias had mailed it from a nursing home halfway across the state. Steve gripped the wheel of his rental car, highway blurring under tires slick with evening rain. Georgia Clay smelled of secrets as he pulled into the home's gravel lot. Fluorescent lights buzzed overhead. Elias sat by a window, frail frame hunched, eyes sharp as broken glass. "You, Steve?" The old man's voice cracked like dry leaves. Steve nodded, throat tight. "The letter, why start it?" Elias leaned forward, breath ragged. "Your mama asked me to, before she got too weak. Said you needed to know, but not all at once. Protect you from the weight." Weight. The word hung. Steve's pulse quickened. Cameras had caught his collapse that night, mid-laugh on set. After Sideman slipped him the final note. World saw a star falter. Truth. Mother's words. "I wasn't alone in raising you, son. There was help, from someone who vanished to keep us safe." Elias's hands trembled as he unfolded a yellowed photo. A young woman, Steve's mother, beside a man not his father. He stepped in when things got rough. "Your real dad?" He left early. This fella, my brother, he covered it. Gave money, stayed in shadows, but folks talked, he had to go. Shadows deepened in the room. Steve's mind raced, the secret uncoiled, not abandonment, but sacrifice. Elias had been the ghost provider, mailing letters to ease the reveal, one thread at a time. Sideman. He'd found the trail accidentally during a routine background check for the show, and passed the final note on set, thinking it harmless nostalgia. Why collapse then? Steve pressed, voice low. Elias chuckled, bitter. You tell me. Shock of piecing it, or fear of what it unravels? If you're gripped by this twist, hit that Steve drove back under storm clouds, rain lashing the windshield like accusations. Studio waited. World demanded smiles. But inside gears ground. Sideman met him at the door, face pale. Boss, press is circling. They think it's health. Shut it down, Steve said sharp. My story. Rehearsals blurred. Lights hot. Contestants grinned, but Steve's eyes scanned shadows. Who else knew? The first letter's postmark burned in memory. Elias swore no more players, yet doubt festered. That night, alone in green room, another envelope waited. No postmark, inside. Finish it or it finishes you. Unsigned. Handwriting matched nothing. Tension knotted his chest. He dialed the investigator. Dig deeper, everyone! Reports flooded in. Elias clean. Sideman frustrated. Alibis ironclad. Then a lead. The nursing home aide, a distant cousin twice removed, bitter over old family slights. She'd overheard Elias, swiped a draft letter, mailed the threat herself, craving chaos to drag skeletons into light. Steve confronted her by phone, voice steel. Enough. Walk away. Silence. Then click. No police. No spectacle, just finality. Dawn broke as he stepped onto set. Cameras rolled, laughter erupted, he bantered, flawless. Beneath, resolve hardened. Mother's secret. Not a curse, but a map. He'd honor it quietly. Fund scholarships in Elias's name. Anonymous, no fanfare, no tears, just action carved from pain. Weeks later, the world moved on. Steve's grin returned, genuine now. Puzzle solved, threads tied. But late nights, he wondered, what other envelopes lurked? The show thrived, ratings soared. He thrived too, lighter. Collapse became legend, spun as exhaustion. Truth stayed his. One envelope changed everything. He burned the rest. If this story kept you on the edge, smash-like, Steve Harvey stood taller. Secrets forged strength. Cameras rolled on. Dustin.